That's false. That's also false. Because before that, Zamasu already hated mortals. Like that was a shtick. All it took was him and Gosu to go to a little bit more planets, see that freaking humanity on that planet cause mass genocide, and right there, just like that, again, Zero Mortal's planet. It just so happened to happen with Earth because he fought Goku and realized that, yo, I want this power. And saving Dragon Ball's future timeline. Like I said before, this is Carthu's dojo. Big shout out to Carthu. And we're about to see if we can debunk some of his takes, even though he's always probably spot on. So we probably ain't debunking nothing today. Let's get it.
The future timeline as we know it no longer exists, having been erased in the Future Trunks arc of Dragon Ball Super, an unavoidable outcome. Unless someone with a brain and hindsight controls the characters like action figures, so that's what I'm gonna do today, starting with Solution 1. One of the easiest ways to avoid the future timeline being erased is with the help of future Goku, and by extension, avoiding the creation of time travel and a present timeline at all. It isn't as simple as many people make it out to.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm literally probably like 30 seconds into this game, and I'm already mad confused, bro. Time travel is so freaking confusing.
Be though. When Goku dies of the heart virus, he's sent straight to heaven like he was supposed to after dying to Raditz in the Saiyan saga. While King Kai's planet is in the realm of the afterlife, it's not actually in heaven, and Goku wouldn't leave heaven without having a reason to. I do think he'd eventually have a reason to leave though, when 6 months after his death, at least some of the other Z fighters would arrive in heaven as well after dying to the recently released androids.
Vegeta would not go to heaven though, right? Vegeta, so if he has Vegeta anywhere in this, he would be wrong, right? He didn't atone for his sins. In the even hold on, he only got to heaven because of what's it called? Give the Kai. No, the Kai gave Goku. How did Vegeta come back alive? Oh, when they went that when they wished on the dragon, and his thing returned. When they wished on the dragon to resurrect the whole earth and all that, to make the spirit bomb to kill Kid Buu, Vegeta was one of the people that came back, so they consider him a good guy. That's what Goku was like, they consider you a good guy. Okay, makes sense. Let's get it.
At this point, I think Goku could get involved, but I definitely think he gets involved when 13 years later, Gohan dies and inevitably arrives in heaven as well. Since I'm controlling the characters like action figures here, let's just assume he takes the android threat seriously the minute he finds out about it. All Goku has to do is teleport to King Kai's planet, something we know he can do since he does it from Earth in the Cell Saga, and we know he could teleport in the afterlife while dead in the Buu Saga when he teleports to the realm of the Kaioshin to find Gohan. So any doubts of him being stuck in heaven should be alleviated. With Goku on King Kai's planet, he can use King Kai in 2 ways. One, to contact Gohan, or the better way, contact Baba. It's actually possible fortune teller Baba is already in the afterlife, hiding from the androids the same way she did from Buu. But even if she's not, it's easy enough to get in contact with her so she could grab Goku to spend his 1 day on Earth. Remember, it's only been 6 months since the androids emerged, so most of
I could have sworn they'll do that only like once.
Taking their time and having fun killing.
Ain't gonna lie.
Androids emerge.
This is ball knowledge right here, yeah. Look at this. What is this nigga grabbing? What is this nigga grabbing right now, gang? The nigga ain't grabbing nothing right now. She flat as. Alright, my bad.
Time and having fun killing everybody. So Goku contacts Gohan and lets him know he's coming back for a day and has him meet him at Kami's palace. Of course, Kami is dead, but the Room of Spirit and Time is still functional, so they're going to use it to train. Now, this may be contentious, but I think the Room of Spirit and Time would give Goku extra time on Earth. It's still 1 day outside the chamber, so no rules are broken to me. But I could see a world where it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Let's assume it works in Goku's favor, due to it even being suggested as a place to train Goten and Trunks in the Buu Saga when Goku also only had 24 hours on Earth. This should be more than enough time since Goku and Gohan ended their training early in canon when using the time chamber, meaning they have over a year.
Let me turn this up a little bit more.
Of breathing room for extra training. Some important things to remember though, Gohan didn't train with Goku and Piccolo for 3 years like present Gohan did in canon. So he is weaker, but they only need to be stronger than the future androids since they don't even know Cell exists and he won't exist for another 21 years. Remember, Cell is only a threat in the canon present timeline because he time travels back in time. Also, the future androids are considered weaker than their present counterparts by future Trunks. It is possible his perspective on their strength is wrong due to the androids holding back against future Gohan in every fight except his last, but I also think it's more than fair to assume that Toriyama truly intended for the present androids to be stronger, which is why he had Trunks say this. So with around a year of training due to Goku's time constraint and weaker androids, Gohan can turn Super Saiyan at will and is far stronger than both of the androids. Goku would want Gohan to handle the androids because he's no longer alive, a similar mentality we—
Am I the only one that's lost? Like, am I the only one that's still like a tad bit confused? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he's losing me right now. Ah, my goodness.
We see him have in the Buu Saga in canon. While Gohan takes care of the androids, Goku teleports back to King Kai's planet and uses him to not only find new Namek, but also to communicate with—
That's Kid Gohan though. You're telling me that that Kid Gohan can take care of the android as a Super Saiyan? Well, that Team Gohan version was able to fight, well, take blows from Perfect Cell that was like leagues ahead of the android, so that could make sense. Okay.
with the Namekians, so they gather their Dragon Balls for him before he gets there, which they're more than happy to do for their people's savior. This also buys Goku more time in the living realm since he's waiting on King Kai's planet until they're gathered, and buys time for Gohan to destroy the androids. King Kai keeps an eye on Earth and informs Goku that the androids are destroyed, and then sees the Namekians have gathered their Dragon Balls. So Goku teleports over and has to decide who he should revive due to Porunga's revival limit of 1.
You revive Piccolo. You shouldn't have to think about that. It's Piccolo. You get calm, you get the regular Dragon Balls back, and you wish everybody else back. But I'm just on the simple fact that you had Vegeta as a Super Saiyan who was training for 3 years. You have, and that Goku never fought the androids, so he never got the Super Saiyan 2. So how does that Team Gohan, how does he stack up to the androids? If he was Super Saiyan 2, I'd say then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Talib. Because he wouldn't be Super Saiyan 2 yet. And that Vegeta was training for 3 years for those androids to come. Remember, they trained for 3 years to get there. So how would he actually be strong enough within 1 year training with a dead Goku who didn't even get to fight these androids or Cell? That's my only thing.
1 person per wish. Luckily for him though, the revival limit was removed after Frieza invaded Namek, so he could revive everyone with just 1 wish, and even has 2 wishes left. After reviving everyone with the first wish, he uses the second to fix the destruction on Earth that the androids caused, and for the third wish, I think he could wish for his own revival, as he didn't have the same intention to stay dead for a reason like after the Cell Saga. But I don't know if Porunga has the same natural death clause that—
No, you can't. Okay. He's about to explain. I was just about to say he should not be allowed to revive himself because his first wish was to resurrect everybody who died, all from the androids. They said that Porunga Dragon Balls can now, they granted the ability to revive more people than 1. That's so, you know, as kind of an ass pull, but they did it with Shinron, so it would make sense that they would allow Porunga to do it as well.
Shenron has. It also depends if a death to a virus is considered a natural death. I would say it is. Otherwise, Toriyama would have specified old age. But I could see both arguments. So now, everyone on Earth is alive. Gohan is really strong, and Goku—
How is Gohan really strong? You trained for a year. Everyone being Super Saiyan trained for literally 3 years. Goku himself, as a Super Saiyan, trained with Piccolo and Gohan for 3 years when he was a kid, and he did not even reach Super Saiyan. Obviously, yeah, he didn't reach Super Saiyan. So it's like, obviously, when you go to the time chamber, you want to get him to Super Saiyan. But it's like, again, how, gosh,
turns to life or to heaven depending on Porunga's own limitations. This of course has rippling effects for the Buu Saga and Super, but things can more or less fall into place after this, especially if Porunga can revive Goku, but I'll explain that more later in the video. Speaking of the Namekian Dragon Balls, here's the second solution. Why don't they just use those in the future timeline? Well, it's not as simple as people think. The first issue is—
I always thought of that. I literally always thought, why did not in the future they just go to future planet Namek, right? after the Android Saga, why did they never just went to New Namek and wish for new stuff, right? That was I always didn't understand that, and why King Kyle's being such a freaking dick and didn't talk to Trunks.
There's possibly no more ships that could be used as a basis for a spaceship. Kami's ship is gone and no space pods seemingly remain, both of which were used to get to Namek originally. To be clear, the ship Vegeta used in Dragon Ball Z was filler. In the manga, he trains in the gravity room at Capsule Corp that we're all used to now. This is actually when the gravity room was made. I think Toei just misunderstood what Toriyama meant, since the room wasn't clearly shown in the manga at this point.
Wasn't that the same ship though that Goku used to get the Namek?
Obviously,
maybe
though,
I'm
if
tripping.
Bulma
Maybe I'm
could
tripping.
invent time travel in the apocalypse, then she probably could make a spaceship based on her prior knowledge of those ships. The real reason she doesn't do that is because she doesn't know where New Namek is. Before going to Namek, they had to get the planet's location from King Kai, who was, at the time, invested in the Earth, and more specifically, the use of his techniques that he couldn't even master himself, like the Kaioken. But we learn in the Cell Saga that King Kai isn't always watching Earth. He has to be told by Goku what's going on with Cell, despite Cell potentially being a threat to his quadrant of the universe. So without someone who knows telepathy or instant transmission to get in touch with King Kai directly, there's no reason to believe he'd relay the location of New Namek to future Bulma on his own. You may be thinking that just like the spaceship, future Bulma inventing time travel should make her capable of finding New Namek on her own, but I disagree. Shenron can't even search the universe for planet-sized objects, and he's a magical wish-granting dragon. If you think that's different, look at the Frieza Force, who couldn't find New Namek despite having incredibly fast ships and overall superior technology to Earth. There is a solution to finding New Namek though, and it doesn't even involve future Goku. Just still use the time machine. While New Namek isn't an accessible option in the future, it is accessible in the past. Future Trunks could get New Namek's location from King Kai in the past with the help of Goku, and to avoid any...
Why would he go... Bro, okay, so the issue with that is that you're telling me Trunks and Goku has to go back in time to talk to King Kai to find New Namek. But wouldn't that Goku be in tune with King Kai already? If you take that, yeah, maybe I'm just slow. Maybe I'm just slow and I just can't understand. But from the theory, what I'm thinking is that like the Goku should already be in tune with King Kai already, because this is all the way up until the 3-year time skip, because that's when Goku dies. He can't fight the androids, and within that time frame, he's already speaking to King Kai. So that Goku should already be in tune with King Kai, instant transmission to King Kai. Hey, where's New Namek? Right. And even if let's just say they're not even talking about that Goku, that we're just saying that Trunks had to go to the past to talk to Goku to do that. Again, we've already seen literally the people there say, hey yo, King Kai. And then King Kai responds. Now, the only way I would say this does not make sense, or that it could make sense, is that Trunks doesn't know about King Kai. Trunks was a baby, he doesn't know about King Kai. But then the only thing that messes that up is Bulma. She spoke to King Kai. So right then and there, Bulma can literally say, hey, oh, King Kai. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing.
Of space travel, he could do two things. One would be making sure Goku's space pod from the Ginyu Force is kept somewhere and have it turned into a spaceship like Dr. Brief did for Goku, or just bring Goku to the future timeline and have him teleport to New Namek with future Trunks to use their Dragon Balls. Either way, the space travel issue can be resolved the minute they learn where New Namek is. Though I will say, the spaceship option is more preventative, so I would go with that one. In this version of events, there's still a present timeline that plays out the same way, but the future timeline has Trunks use the Namekian Dragon Balls after killing the future androids and future Cell to restore the planet and the fighters who died trying to protect it. Again, except Goku potentially, because I'm not sure the Namekian Dragon Balls can revive him. There is potentially one other issue with this plan, and that's the 1-year revival limit for groups of people revived by the Dragon Balls. But again, we're not sure if Porunga would have this same limitation, especially since he was upgraded to revive large groups of people after Frieza. Even if he is limited in this way, it would just mean that Trunks...
Oh, Talib, we are dumb. So actually, they actually did upgrade the dragon. We thought that was random, he just threw out, but no, they actually did upgrade the dragon to be able to wish back a whole planet and all that. Because they did use Purunga back in the Buu saga. That is right. 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 I'm still lost. I'm still lost, but that one makes sense now. But I'm still confused on everything else.
Has to use the Namekian Dragon Balls multiple times to restore all the fighters on Earth one by one, so it isn't really a notable change. With this larger group and future Trunks' knowledge of better training due to his time in the past, the future Buu saga should go pretty smoothly, specifically with future Gohan, who could be trained by future Goku since he wouldn't want his perceived failures to happen again. He could have even already trained with him for 3 years while dead in heaven. This, alongside the fact there's a warning about Buu well in advance in the future timeline, should allow for Buu's revival to be more avoided, and more importantly, for Beerus to still be alive, since there would be no reason for Supreme Kai to die, and even if he does, he'll be revived immediately. This would also lead to Goku Black no longer seeing the future timeline as a target, and potentially him having no target for the Zero Mortals plan at all. Maybe he'll go to Cell's time.
That's false. That's false. That's also false. Because before that, Zamasu already hated mortals. He literally already hated mortals. Like that was a shtick. All it took was him and Goku to go to a little more planets, see that freaking humanity on that planet to cause mass genocide, and right there, just like that, again, Zero Mortals planet. It just so happened to happen with Earth because he fought Goku and realized that, yo, I want this power. And so since Goku's on that planet, he wanted to destroy that planet and use that power. That's the only reason why he was on Earth doing what he did on Earth. He still would have went through with the plan of Zero Mortal plan because he already hated mortals.
Timeline, you know, the one where Cell killed Trunks and stole his time machine, I guess that'd be the only option he'd have left. Like I said though, there's no guarantee that everyone can be revived by the Namekian Dragon Balls, because they might have Earth's Dragon Balls' same 1-year time limit on group revivals. If that's the case, Trunks can still fix the Earth as much as possible with their Dragon Balls, and if he took a spaceship to the past, this still leads to a Goku Black free outcome, because assuming everything else goes the same, Supreme Kai dying to prevent Buu's resurrection and all, he can use their Dragon Balls to revive Supreme Kai, and by extension, Beerus. For those who forgot, Beerus is connected to Supreme Kai. Yes, he likely used to be connected to Elder Kai, but he no longer is. Yes, he likely was connected to the Grand Supreme Kai, but
is Elder Kai future Supreme Kai, or he just another Elder Kai? I gotta look that up. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I always thought about that.
he no longer is. It's explicitly stated in the anime and manga that his life is connected to Shin as of now. This connection is transferred to the current Supreme Kai. Think of it like Elder Guru transferring the Namekian Dragon Balls to Elder Mori. And now, because their lives are connected, it should work the same way as Kami and Piccolo, where reviving one revives both. So once again, Beerus is in the timeline, and even worse for Goku Black, he's likely far more involved in the affairs of Earth due to his death and revival. Speaking of gods, Solution 3 makes use of a god's attendant. Not Whis, not Kibito, I mean Mr. Popo, who, as far as we know, should still be alive in the future timeline and knows about the Room of Spirit and Time, so why didn't he tell future Gohan about it? The androids ravaged the planet for 17 years, and he didn't think once to put their strongest fighters in a room that gives them a free...
That never made sense to me either.
Now, it's very possible this wouldn't make a difference since future Gohan actually did train for a year before facing the androids again and still got his ass beat, but Mr. Popo, while...
Exactly! So what makes you think Goku training him for 1 year puts him way above the androids? And I generally don't get that. Like, and Popo probably was dead. I'm gonna keep it about. Popo probably was dead. I'm gonna keep it a rack.
While not as strong as them, could actually help them on their fundamentals like he did for Goku. This is probably my most far-fetched solution, but it is funny there are tools on Earth to do something and they just aren't utilized. Actually, I'll keep these in Solution 3 because they're adjacent. Master Roshi was definitely alive for a lot of the future timeline, so why didn't he teach someone else the Mafuba so they could seal the androids? You could even have him do a training session with Gohan in the Room of Spirit and Time to expedite the process. Actually, I just like the idea of future Gohan having to rely on the masters of his dead father to further grow and ready himself as the new protector of Earth. Master Karin could even get involved and use the Ultra Divine Water to unlock Gohan's hidden potential, just like he did for Goku. This isn't the Sacred Water, by the way.
That'll be Gohan's like 50th time getting his potential unlocked. Holy crap. How do you unlock someone's potential and then unlock it again, and then again, and then again, and then again? Like, bro. I'm not gonna lie. If you unlock a door and you open the door, is there other locks behind the door? I'm Confucius.
That water was fake. The Ultra Divine water was real. They're from 2 different arcs. So in this version,
My Fuba has never been shown to work on something non-organic. That is true. That is true. I think because it's like a spirit thing, right? I think it's like a spirit thing, where it's like it gathered. Yeah, no. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. Actually, so would it work against the androids? Oh, actually, it would. It would. Because you gotta remember, Philippe, they're like cyborgs rather than androids. They're not fully mechanical like Android 16. They are actually built from human, like human. You know what I'm saying?
Gohan stays alive, having followed more closely in his father's footsteps while still being his own person. With a combination of his improved fundamentals from Mr. Popo, a power increase from Master Karin, and learning the Mafuba from Master Roshi, he handles the androids on his own. This doesn't bring back the Dragon Balls or anyone else for that matter, but it does likely lead to a future timeline with a far easier Buu saga due to both Gohan and Trunks being around to help Supreme Kai with that threat so he doesn't have to die. Which then leads to Beerus still being alive and avoids Goku Black's involvement entirely. I think all of these solutions could have led to a good.
Why does Goku Black not be involved? Is it because he doesn't fight? He doesn't fight Goku? Okay, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense.
Outcome for the future timeline and future Trunks, but instead he's in a timeline with a different version of himself that's already there because I guess that was a more fitting ending for that character. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and thank you so very much for watching.
Carthu. Listen, man. That was a well thought out video. I cannot lie. Just clap it up for Carthu. But I wouldn't say I don't. I wouldn't say like I don't agree with a lot of stuff you were saying. I just don't understand. Maybe I'm just dumb though. Maybe I'm just dumb. That third theory was the best. Yeah, the third theory made the most sense. It made the most sense in my personal opinion. The first theory lost me. I ain't gonna lie. The first theory lost me. I was mind gone. Second theory, there's a little holes there. Not gonna lie.